Welcome to Columbus, Ohio. Welcome to the Center for Cosmology and Astroparticle Physics. And most important, welcome to TV Particle Astrophysics. In 2005, when we began this conference series at Fermilab with Gianfranco Bertoni, Olga Mena, and others, we had an important goal. And the goal was, of course, to invent a working changer. There we go. The goal was, of course, first to cover TV particle astrophysics, as the name suggests. But another important part of the goal was to connect it with cosmology and laboratory physics. And I want you to imagine for a moment sort of where we were in 2005 on this point. It was basically purely aspirational. At that time, we did not have IceCube, we did not have Hawk, we did not have Hess, we did not have MAGIC, we did not have Fermi, we did not have Planck, we mostly didn't have WMAP, we didn't have LHC, and we mostly didn't have the results from Run 2. Now, 12 years later, we have all of those results, and we have something more important. We have deep physical connections between them, and we have a vibrant theory community, and all of these things are represented here today. So this is, I think, the most exciting TeVPA I've been to, and I hope you'll find it so as well. Now, I'd like to introduce your hosts. As I mentioned, it's the Center for Cosmology and Astroparticle Physics. And here's our local organizing committee. I want to emphasize that the three people on the top not only led in the work, but they led in all of the important decisions. So anything you see that you like, the credit goes to them. If there's any problem, I accept the blame. Now, I would like you also to see not just what great conference organizers they are, but what great scientists they are. And here's your opportunity. You'll notice that two of these talks are at exactly the same time. That may be one snafu in the scheduling. So this conference wouldn't be possible without the work of a lot of people besides the ones I just mentioned. I give a list here of all the people who've contributed. First of all, of course, or actually last of all, but most important is the 367 people who showed up to make this work. And many, many people have helped. One thing you may notice on here is the 17 dinner expedition leaders. Those people have not yet been identified. And if you are one of those people, you don't have to buy dinner. You just have to round up 10 people, ideally mostly people you don't know, pick a restaurant and go so that we have mingling between all the different kinds of people here. Don't send me the bill. So what happens today in the morning is the plenaries. And all the plenary speakers should upload their talks to Indico. Everybody can find their Wi-Fi password on the back of their badge. During the questions in the plenary talks, we ask you to use the microphone because the talks are being filmed. And in order to use the microphone, we'll have to wait just a moment. Otherwise, it's going to end up like Parks and Rec. The talks, if the speakers give permission, will be uploaded to YouTube, we hope, on the same day. And we're going to do something innovative here at TeVPA. In order to help advertise the work of the many, many excellent people giving talks in the parallel sessions, we've invited people to give a slide or even a short video advertising their work. And we'll show these as previews before the conference starts each day, actually after it ends, and during the coffee break. So if you haven't yet contributed a video or a slide, you're welcome to. What happens after the plenaries is lunch, and here's the plan. We are in one place, and then you need to go to another place, and you have 2 hours to do this. It's a 10-minute walk, and I've drawn a little bit of a drunken walk here, but hopefully it won't take you 2 hours. There are restaurants in abundance along the way, and you'll have fun. It's a nice neighborhood to walk around in. What happens in the afternoon? Afternoon speakers should upload their talks. It'll be a different Wi-Fi system, same names. Now, there's something very, very important in the afternoon sessions. Who's giving a parallel talk sometime this week? Almost everybody, lots of people. Who put a lot of time and care into that talk and is interested in getting a good reception to that talk? Everybody. So what can we do to ensure that for each other? And the really important thing we have to do is keep the timetable. So people always say that at conferences, but it never really sticks. So I came up with a physical notation to help you. We require exact degeneracy between all omegas to within 30 seconds over something like 3 hours. And the reason for doing this, and it has to be a group project, right? Everybody has to hold their time exactly, and you have to recognize and respect the chairs who help hold the time. And that's so that when you plan to go to a talk, when someone plans to go to your talk, it's in the right place at the right time, and they can then go to the next talk. So please help each other out in that way. Tonight, there'll be another special thing, is we have a reception. Charter buses will take us from here or the hotel to the Physics Research Building at Ohio State, where we'll have a reception with nice food and drink. And then charter buses will take you back either to here, downtown or the short north. These details will all be on the webpage when I post my talk. Now, what happens the rest of the week? So we have a daily schedule that looks just like this. Every day is exactly the same, but better. That's why he's still in the smiling part of the movie. Then on Wednesday, we have a dinner banquet at the Columbus Museum of Art. Transportation is on your own, it's not very far, and that'll be very nice. So, I want to talk a little bit about sort of what our goals are for the conference. So the topics, of course, we want them to be very broad, but also very connected, so it's not just a hodgepodge. And I think you'll see a lot of that in the sessions. We have a lot of great content. People have made a lot of care in preparing their talks well, and we appreciate that. And our overall style is, we hope, very inclusive and friendly. And we hope that that shows in every way we've planned this conference. So there's a lot of fun to be had in Columbus, and one of the ways you can do it is taking a free bus up and down High Street. It's called the C Bus. There are other buses you can pay for, but there's a free bus right next to it. So we have a code of conduct that's on the webpage, talk about how to keep things happy for everyone. If you need any help, contact any one of the organizers or anybody with an LOC badge, or even just anybody from Ohio State. I want to thank everybody who's helped to make this conference exciting, and I hope it'll be great for all. One of the ways we can share that with the world is you can share tweets about this. Here's our hashtag. We will share the plenary videos on YouTube. And I ask everybody to take a lot of photos during the week, and at the end, we'll find a way to collect everybody's best photos and share them. Now, I want to turn, one last mark is about the future. I told you about where we were 12 years ago, and I want you to think about sort of what TeVPA is going to be like in 2 years, 5 years, whatever, next 12 years. We're laying the foundation of that now. It's not merely the experiments that get built that make the science grow. It's the connections between them. And all of us have an important role in that. And it's a very, very exciting time to be working in this physics, because the connections between the laboratory, astrophysics, and cosmology are more real than ever. And I'd like to thank everybody for being a part of that. Now, I'm about to introduce the first speaker. And I have a very short story and a moral of the story. So when I was an undergraduate, I went to a very small institution, University of Kansas. I ultimately graduated in physics with like 2 other people. So I didn't have too much experience in seeing the world or meeting other physicists, and I didn't know if I was going to become one. So I got myself to Fermilab somehow, and they provided me an ID card and a luxurious head of hair. And they also gave me the chance to meet other young physicists. And it was mostly the first time I ever had. And so I figured that I would meet pretty average other young physicists, just like me from other places. And an example of one of the first physicists I met is Nima Arkhani Hamed. And I said, if this is typical, I'm a little concerned about my role here. But it was a ton of fun working with Nima that summer in 1990. And we're delighted to have Nima here today. He still has a luxurious head of hair. So without further ado, let's welcome Nima.